in like what seems like forever. So let's give it a couple minutes for some people to hop on. I am so happy to be back after basically a month of not doing these with you guys. So first things first, how is everybody? Go around in a circle and share.
Okay, you all share. I'm looking for this in YouTube. Make this go live on YouTube.
I'm good. I'm enjoying. Yeah.
What's new? What's new with Javi?
Just working on stuff and working and baby things, and it's crazy. I think it wasn't too long ago where I saw Steve, had some coffee with Steve, so that was nice.
Yeah, and our friend Daniel.
I put him on my TikTok. It's pretty embarrassing if you want to go check it out.
I'm not even on TikTok, so I mean, I guess I am, but
You're on TikTok. I found you.
People like found me. I posted something back when it used to be Musically. I guess I had one of those accounts, and they automatically just made you a TikTok if you had one of those, and I was like, oh, that's cool, I guess. But I don't know how to use it.
Javi is a TikToker.
That's awesome. See, you need to like be in charge of the band TikTok if we make one.
You guys, right. I thought you had one. Well, you probably don't have an account, but all y'all's music is up there. Like, and people tag themselves making videos with the band's music or whatever.
Yeah.
I think what's that song? The Freak Show is probably the most used. You see a bunch of kids like in their clown circus outfits, like, I'm in the Freak Show.
That's pretty awesome.
It's pretty
That's
cute.
really cool. I dig that. Oh, by the way, I just figured out something awesome. So if I'm trying to look at our comments on YouTube while we stream, you can just make the chat a pop out, and I don't even have to have the window open with the stream. So I wonder if that will help with lag.
There you go.
Who knows?
So before we move on to Josh, want a quick shout out to Craig and Doolin and Bill and Matt and Carlos. Thanks for joining, you guys. Really appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight. We're back in the game, back on Wednesday nights. TJ's back in the house.
School and Doolin.
Yep. What's up? What's new with Hush?
Not much, just enjoying the summer weather. It's nice, the weather's getting a little warmer. I had some graduation parties. My cousins graduated, so that was fun. It was cool getting to see you guys a few weeks ago. Partied it up. Yeah, that was I don't know. That's really it. Did some drum recording the other night for Eva Way's acoustic, so that's exciting. And yeah.
Show everybody your new haircut.
I got my hair cut short.
Nice. Nice.
So now it kind of just looks the same no matter what I do. It was really long. Yeah, I had like an Ace Ventura thing going on for a little bit.
But yeah, I like the Ace Ventura, but I feel like I can respect your opinion a little more now with this haircut. Gosh,
Okay.
You seem.
I'm still gonna wear a backwards hat though, Steve.
That's true.
First...
I actually was just getting my haircut before this stream. That's why I was like, can we push it to the 5 Central time, because I got to get my haircut and pick up my groceries before the stream. So
nice, adult.
Yeah, but I always have the same haircut, so it's not noticeable like Josh. It's not a drastic upgrade or anything.
It's always drastic for me. It's like I'll let it go real long and then get it cut all off. Like every time, there's no in between. But
Dano's here.
Hello. How about Steve? What's new with Steve?
Oh man, all kinds of stuff. It's been pretty busy month. The highlight was definitely TJ's wedding. We had a good time up there, hanging out with friends. We danced up and had good food, and I had all the tequila that the open bar could allow.
Did they cut you off?
No.
Good.
Well, I mean, other than it closed at some point.
I remember seeing them cleaning up. I was like, oh.
Okay, well, and then after the wedding, Josh and I and our old drummer Corey and his wife and some people, we went to a bar. Um, you know, TJ and Jordan were invited, but being newlyweds, they probably had things to take care of, so
Dude, we
uh,
were no
went to
lie.
bed.
No lie. We literally were opening all the presents.
Oh my goodness, that's such a TJ thing to do.
I did not want to, but somebody brought back all the like I was supposed to leave decorations there and come get them in the morning, but no, they packed everything up and brought it all to our house. So when we got to our house, we had like truckloads of stuff to take upstairs to our apartment. And then my sister and Travis, we hung out with Amanda and Travis the whole night. I was like, no, let's not open the gifts. Like, let's just whatever. We ended up polishing off like 3 extra bottles of champagne between the 4 of us, and just like opening the presents. And like Amanda was like, you know how like the maid of honor like writes down like, who gives you what or whatnot. Jem gave us this amazing cross stitch. It's beautiful. I don't know if you saw the big box at the wedding. She apparently like took this thing on the airplane. It was like a giant frame with this beautiful piece of artwork in it. So I was like dying to open that, but I don't know, like that's just what everybody wanted to do. Like, and like I didn't even open one card. Jordan and my brother-in-law opened all the cards. Travis was like, I want to open the cards. I was like, all right, man, I'm too tired not to.
Read them to me. You open the card and read them to me while I lay here and drink champagne.
That's basically what happened. Honestly, like he literally read all the cards. Like if you guys knew my brother-in-law, like you would understand. Like
he's hilarious.
He's hilarious, and when he wants to do something, it's just like, cool, man. Like, yeah, why not? Fine, you read my cards. I'm tired. I don't even want to do this right now. I was like, if y'all want to do it, then go ahead. And because I wanted to go out, and like everyone was like, where's the after party? We're going to hang out. Like a bunch of people were staying at that hotel in town. And like, basically we got upstairs and we were just like, nah, we're not going anywhere. And then like, we didn't even text anybody. Like nobody texted us. Nobody cared. But I'm sorry we didn't join you guys.
No, it's fine. Because we weren't even out super late. Because I think, Josh, what was it? Did they close at 12:30 or something?
Yeah,
we went to this pub and.
Well, they like did last call.
Apparently the bars here closed super early. Like they closed like right after y'all got there, I heard.
Yeah.
And there was totally a fight as we were leaving. We're like, oh, this is so New England right now, because we're leaving and some dude's all broed up and getting tossed out of the bar by the bouncers, and he's outside saying racist stuff and then like screaming at some girl. And so we just went back to AJ and Corey's place and just kind of hung out and chatted for a bit. But me and Josh had super early flight, so we went to bed at like 3 and woke up at 6 to go to the airport. So we had like 3 hours of sleep that night.
Yeah.
Dano, the DeLorean was there. Josh and I did not get to see it because I guess it showed up earlier and TJ banned it from the rest of the wedding. And
where did this whole DeLorean, why is it like people like fans are asking like, was the DeLorean there? And I'm like, when did we talk about this? Like
it was like your last stream before the wedding. We were talking, and I think Jordan even brought up the DeLorean at some point, and
probably did.
You were telling, and we were all like, we're only going to see the DeLorean. That's the only reason
like,
we're going to the wedding.
Well, basically the best man owns a DeLorean. He brought it to the rehearsal. And he showed up wicked late. And everybody was like on the yeah, everyone from the rehearsal, like our family, our close friends and family and stuff, we're like taking pictures with it and stuff like that and da-da-da. And then Pete was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna bring it to the wedding. Like, he didn't want to do it, and I was like, good. Like, we got it out of your system. But like, if you guys knew where we got married, like, it wouldn't have fit in at all with the day. It didn't.
Sure it would have.
No.
Just park it behind the altar.
Yeah, no. Where we got married was like, if we were to have like a vehicle there, because first of all, we walked to the venue anyway, like we live right around the corner. But like a Rolls Royce or something, like, I don't know, like an old limo, like a DeLorean just doesn't make sense. Like, it's not on theme. Anyway, it's over and done with. Next time you guys are up here, I will make sure that the DeLorean is involved for sure.
All right, next time you and Jordan get married,
so apparently,
when you do your like renew the vows or something.
Let me tell you how cute Jordan is. He goes, we're on our honeymoon, and he was like, being on your honeymoon is like the best. Like, we should do this like every year and have a yearly honeymoon. And I'm just like, that's called an anniversary. And
yeah.
And he's like,
or just
no.
a vacation.
Or just a vacation, yeah. And he's like, no, we should like tell people we're on our honeymoon like every time we come to Vegas.
Oh, for sure, yeah. If you go out and tell people it's your honeymoon, you're gonna get free shit. Mm-hmm. So you gotta exploit that any way that you can.
I mean, to be honest with you, people weren't like that awesome about it. I was expecting
in Vegas, it's probably like, oh, everybody's here for your honeymoon.
Yeah, and then in Boston, like, no one gave a shit at all. Like,
but you drove out there, right? You road tripped it.
No, we flew to Vegas and then road tripped around the area. So we
okay. I thought you road tripped all the way out there.
It's like really far away. That would have been like a 2-day thing. So we flew out, and like, we're at the airport. We're like all like, you don't even know, like, the next day you guys left early, but like my whole family and friends and everybody was here like the entire effing day. We had a brunch, we had all this stuff. And like, we did not pack. Anybody out there, if you're engaged, if you're getting married, let me tell you, my biggest piece of advice is definitely pack for your honeymoon like 2 weeks before your wedding. Like, pack a suitcase, leave it aside, do the laundry that you need, pack your like travel size shit, because we waited until like the day after the wedding. Well, we didn't want to, but that's what ended up happening. So like, inevitably, like the week of your wedding, it'll be like bam, bam, bam. Like, especially if you're having like a big wedding and having like family traveling in, shit like that. It was just there was people everywhere, stuff going on constantly. So we're throwing shit in a bag and like, but we're like still all excited, and we barely got any sleep. Our flight was super early. So that night, like, people were hanging out with us because my family didn't leave until Monday morning as well. So we all were hanging out Sunday night, all day, all night, and you're drinking all day. And then we're just like, it's 10 o'clock at night, and then we're whipping out the suitcase. I was like, we packed way too much shit. We forgot tons of stuff. Like, just random shit that you forget. And then we're just like, we get there, and then you got to go shop. And it's just like, oh my God. So we're at the airport, and we're all like, buzz, like, could barely sleep that night. We're like so excited. And we have these little like masks that are like bride and groom that my mom got me. Super cute. And we're just like bopping around, like super happy, like wide awake at like 6 a.m. No one gave a shit. No one gave a shit. Like, when we got to Vegas, we had the bride and groom mask. We wore them the whole time. And people were like, oh, just saw, congratulations. And they were like happy for us. And at least like a congratulations. Are you on your honeymoon? Like, yeah. But in the airport in Boston, like, nobody even fucking cared.
I think the bigger cities, especially in tourist areas, are not, because they're used to it. It's like working downtown in Nashville. Oh my goodness, every single thing is a bachelorette party or whatever. So the idea of like people getting married is like 100 a night. So I feel like where to exploit it would be if you were driving there or something in the small towns along the way. I bet you all the little town and like little mom and shop pop restaurants, if you went in there and you're like, oh, it's our honeymoon, they'd be like, here's a free slice of apple pie on us. And yeah, so real quick, not so trendy bendy, thanks so much for hanging out. I know it's late. We appreciate you popping in for just a little bit. Alex is on. over in YouTube, Natty Attack, Gorgeous, and Autumn. Thanks for hanging out with us. We're happy to have all of you on.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with us.
On the ride of rambles.
Well, we're going to try. We're going to maybe ask you guys to pick like a theme. We're
I mean, if we're kind of if we need something to get the ball rolling, I could do the topic up front instead of at the end. I don't know. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about your honeymoon or the wedding? Because that was the big event that happened this past month.
I mean, just thank you to everybody for all your support and patience. I know I've been gone, and it's definitely was the best day of my whole life. I'm super happy, and I only got out of work that you have to do when you get married and you combine all your shit. And I haven't even really talked to my family all that much since I've been home either. So, you know, I'm just thankful to everybody. I'm thankful to you guys for coming, and we had an awesome honeymoon. It's literally the best. We had so much fun. We went, to Vegas, and then we went on a little road trip, and we did actually go on Route 66 at some point. So we actually did go to some of those small town bars, and like people were very excited that we were newlyweds and all of that. So we had a great time. So I'll just leave it at that. You know what I mean? Like I got to keep some stuff to myself, but me and
For
the
sure.
guys in the band will catch up on everything we did soon. But I can show you guys my rings. I can show you guys
Nice.
those.
Nice.
Bam.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the angle? It's weird.
I
Anyway.
think it's with the light. It's gonna be hard to.
It's just too
You'll have
bright,
to
man.
do a glamour photo of just your hand, and we'll post it at some
Yeah.
point. Slight housekeeping. I'll start up because JTK rock and roller. Hey, tell me who you are on Patreon, because I'm assuming this is you're asking about a Patreon thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and get housekeeping over since you brought up that question. What's up, Laura and Mr. Gree in YouTube? So yeah, just a couple quick announcements. If you're on the Patreon, you've already got Believer. If you're not, that song is being released this Friday. So it's coming out this Friday on the Spotify's, the Apples, the streaming services. You can stream that. So look forward to that coming out. But we've already been teasing the next single from the acoustic record. And I just want to say, first of all, I love this song. Like, it makes me so happy when I hear this version of it. And I can't wait for TJ to pop her vocals on it. But like throwing the piano in there, getting Josh's like jazzy drums in it is just like, every time I hear it now, I like this version better than the original version.
Dude, you can't beat the original.
Yeah, so I popped a little teaser up for our patrons. So if you want to get a sneak peek, you can go over to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/the Nearly Deads. And we post a lot of behind the scenes stuff. We're in the studio right now. And so we give little teases of new content before anybody else. So right now there's a teaser of the next acoustic single. And I put a little teaser as just like the bridge going into the chorus, and it doesn't have vocals on it yet. So I said, who all can guess what the song was? And I will say that everybody got it wrong. Everybody got it wrong. Everybody guessed Never Look Back, because we're doing reimaginings of some of our songs that we've already released. But I told everybody no and to guess again. And I believe Doolin, was it you, School and Doolin, that responded and got the answer to correct? The song is My Evil Ways. So that
Yay.
the JT Rocker, that Jeff, that was the answer. It's My Evil Ways. We're excited to get that finished up and out to y'all. So if you want to play these fun games with us and get behind the scenes photos and videos, go ahead and head over to our Patreon. We really appreciate everyone who does. you're the reason we get to make this acoustic record and start working on the next album. And we extra appreciate all of you producer tier patrons that I'd like to shout out real quick, which include Paul, Craig, Karen, Derper, Doug, Ninja, Jesse, Yaroslav, Craig, John, Patty, Bobby, and Bill Ford. So thank you all very much
Thanks,
for
guys. You guys rock.
rocking and rolling with us.
Nice.
And I just want to say too, now that my craziness of planning a wedding and dealing with COVID and all of that is out of the way, I just feel like things are going to ramp up and be even more like there's going to be even more stuff going on. Like I'll be a lot more involved with everything. I promise.
It won't be just me anymore. Or me and Josh. Like,
hey, but people love you guys. People love you guys.
It was fun. You can ask Derper. Like our last stream that we were able to do together, we just talked about Marvel and nerdy stuff.
Did you
for
guys
like an
do
hour.
like the producer Zoom call or?
No, nobody ever wants to do that. We ask and nobody
that's
responds.
Like the coolest. I thought it was
but
fun.
We did do the live stream with just us two, and
he says he was never asked. I don't know. It's a certain tier that you get. I don't know exactly what the name of the tier is, but a certain tier you get like a private Zoom call with us. So it's just kind of like this, only you're on the call with like you're face to face with us, and we can like see you and get to know who you are, and like if there's more, and it's all the producers can be on it. So like it would be a big group of us.
Derper upgraded to producer. Well, it is. Yeah, you're on here. Oh yeah. That's the thing, Derper, is the private Zoom call is just the dead executive producers. So that's the $25 tier. The Night of the Living producers gets raffle content and other things.
Well, it's still kind of a new-ish Patreon, so we kind of like to see what everybody is loving and feeling, and we can always judge up the tiers in the future as well, so that more people can like participate and stuff.
Right.
But we're super
Which
thankful.
That's actually a good first topic, actually, because we haven't had a group, one of these live streams since before your wedding and the release. One of the prizes, Derper, you did get, and all of you Night of the Living producers, was our very first demo we ever recorded.
And you guys gave that out, right?
Yeah, so everybody in that tier and up was able to download it. So let me know, Derper and any of the other producers who are on the stream right now, did you download the demo and what were your thoughts? While they're typing, we can Javi tell us something so there's not dead air.
Well,
I had to smash my car window the other day.
What happened?
So I was in my Hyundai Elantra, the red one, and the motor to the window doesn't work. I'm like, okay, no big deal. So I just leave it open, or I leave it up. And so I was going to the grocery store, and on my way out, I locked my phone and my keys in the car. There's no way for me to like do anything. I guess in hindsight, I could have went inside and said, hey, can you call the police, and got them to help, but I didn't do that. Another guy in the parking lot was like, hey man, I see you're having some trouble. Hi dog. I see you're having some trouble with your car. Do you want to borrow my tools to like, help open your car up? And so they were like pretty professional tools. So I was like, okay, cool. So I started to, jimmy the window and like trying not to break it or anything. And, a minute goes by and the damn window like just shatters and like cuts me all up. And I was like, well, Had to get my phone.
Man.
So, I mean,
that sounds like
it
such a
sucked.
hobby moment.
Now,
Yeah.
did you already replace your window? Like, now what?
No, I'm probably gonna replace it. Like the motor was already dead, so this is like a great opportunity to replace the motor,
There you
replace the
go.
window. Like
There
I can
you
probably
go.
do all that stuff for half of whatever somewhere else is gonna charge, but it's all good.
Wow.
Well, I'm glad you're not dead. And I guess it could have been worse, right?
I was just surprised at how the damn thing, like, just the way that it shattered. I was like, this is dangerous. I can imagine being in a car accident or something where all the windows shatter. It's like,
Is your
geez.
hand okay?
Yeah, it was like minor cuts and stuff, but it was like, it's pretty sharp. Like all those little, and they're like real teeny tiny bits of glass. So it's like, I had to let the workers know in the grocery store that, like, hey, you guys got a bunch of glass on in your parking lot. You might want to clean that up.
Wow.
Didn't it break? Like car windows are supposed to, when they break, they're supposed to break into those like little pebble sized pieces. Like it's supposed to.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to break in a way that doesn't have like sharp chunks,
I mean, it did do that, but it was like little like diamond pebble sized bits of glass, but it's still sharp.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
You definitely don't want to like try to grab it.
Walk on it.
Yeah.
That's really ironic that happened to you, because my parents were leaving to come fly to the wedding and they locked their keys in my aunt's car and they had to break the window to get in. But they meant
Oh,
to.
really?
Yeah. I'm like, that's super. What a coincidence. Like my my stepdad, he was like, they didn't have time to call like Papa Lock
Right.
or whatever. They were just like, we need to go. I don't know what he broke it on purpose though. So I think he like got a towel out and like I don't know, but they broke her window too.
Yeah.
He
I was
meant to break it.
Yeah, I was going to do that on purpose, but this guy just came and was like, "Hey, you want to borrow my tools?" And so I tried that first. I mean, it's still shattered, but I was like, I will break this thing to get to my phone and my keys. Like, I don't even care.
Jeez.
Like, yeah. But yeah, so fun story.
Yeah. Oh, behind the scenes in the life of Javi.
I love that you're outside right now. It looks beautiful there.
It is. It's really nice. We have this. We put this tent up, and so now we can kind of enjoy the sun without. We got this little fountain thing for. Got this little fountain thing for Eli.
Cute.
So we can like play and stuff. So it's nice.
Yeah. Like Memorial Day was real nice. It was sunny.
Oh my God. Memorial Day was amazing. It was beautiful. How was it for y'all on the other side of the country?
It was raining.
Oh, dang.
It was a perfect day here. It was like 75 and sunny or something.
It's okay that it was raining because like my wedding day was perfect. So it can rain every other day.
That was like the perfect day.
It was literally the perfect day. Like we were all just in disbelief. Like, how did we luck out with like the perfect weather, like the perfect temperature, like perfect amount of sun versus clouds, like I don't know, perfect amount of birds chirping in the trees. Like it was just like the weirdest, the most magical, perfect day. So happy.
Well, I saw the pictures. It looked really awesome. And congratulations. And I think Jordan posted some stuff on Instagram of y'all visiting Utah and stuff.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
That seemed really cool.
Yeah, we're being kind of like we're trickling out photos, you know what I mean? We didn't get a lot of cell surface out there, and then we're kind of like, well, how much do we want to put on public and how much do we want to just keep for ourselves? And I'm going to make an album out of all the pictures, but we definitely went to Utah. Arches National Park, Bryce Canyon, Zion. It was like it was just a great experience. Yeah. But and the weather was amazing the whole time. Like, I mean, it was actually really freaking weird. It was like super hot during the day and then freezing at night. So it wasn't, I guess it wasn't like ideal weather. And then in Vegas, it was like, oh, it's already 100 degrees there. So it was like god awful hot. And then we come home and it's like raining and 50. And we're just like, oh God.
Yeah, it
Of
got
course it
cold
is.
last
Welcome
Saturday.
to Boston. Like, welcome to Boston. Awesome. Welcome home. But it's
Yeah, I think
pretty right now.
it's like 50 or 60 something last Saturday. That's when we were supposed to go to the pool, but ended up working out, doing it on. I hope it's sunny this weekend because I'm gonna go out on the boat. Be nice.
Oh, Alex asked if I went to like Zion from The Matrix. No.
That would be cool though. Have a great night, Brendy. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Not so
It is.
trendy, Brendy.
Yeah.
It's a cool
I
name.
want to see a picture of you, Brendy, because I bet you're actually super trendy. Because anything the Europeans wear as normal clothes are like trendy clothes over here in the States.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. We're interested in all things from all other places.
Oh, for sure. Which, by the way, we got a lot of. So remember the stream where we were talking about condiments and
Yeah.
everybody kept bringing up fry sauce, and we're like, "What the hell's fry sauce?"
Oh, I
Well,
thought it was brown sauce.
fry sauce.
Okay.
Remember they kept, and
Yeah,
I think,
I remember that stream. I still have.
yeah, Summer was talking about it, I think, and it's what is it? It's like ketchup and mayo mixed or something. It's a European or Canadian sauce that they use for their fries. But when I made a post just a little bit ago, that was another one that got a bunch of traction where I said ketchup versus ranch, and we got so many comments from I didn't realize how many of our fans are European. But we got so many comments that were like, neither fry sauce. And I'm like, that's not an option here. Stop saying fry sauce.
My mom does that. She mixes ketchup and mayo. But then again, we used to live in Germany, so she probably got that from there.
Well,
Right.
The American one now, like Heinz came out with like a ketchup and mayo mix, so they brought it to the States. I've never tried it.
It's just weird. Like, the ketchup mayo mixed all for you is just strange to me. Like, anyone can just mix their own ketchup and mayo. And isn't the name of it like Mayo Chup or something really like?
Yeah.
Mayo chup.
It's like Heinz version or something.
Yeah. It's like anybody can just mix their own. You know what I like dipping my French fries in? Barbecue sauce.
Yes. Or honey mustard.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna have to find a way to do that tonight at some point. Speaking of junk food, I ate like shit the entire honeymoon, and I'm pretty sure I gained like 10 pounds.
Hey, you're supposed to.
Yeah, we kind of like went all out. We would literally go to restaurants and be like, "Do you want this appetizer or this one?" And we'd be like, "Fuck it, both."
Both.
Both. We would.
Oh, that's amazing.
Most places we ate, we just ordered everything we wanted to eat, and I was like, "Who cares if we don't finish it? Whatever. It's not like whatever." And then, thanks to the generosity of our family and friends and everyone and all the, mostly we just asked for money for our honeymoon for the wedding. So we were able to like tip fat the whole time. Like, that was the biggest thing for me, is like, it just felt great being able to be like, here you go. Like, because we met so many awesome local people in all these little restaurants we went to, and even in the places in Vegas. And like, most restaurants and stuff and hotels, they're just now reopening. So it feels really good to kind of like, pay it forward and treat people really, really well, because we know how it is, as well as, musicians and people who travel a lot. Like, a little kindness goes a long way.
Yeah, and if you weren't in that kind of industry during the pandemic,
yeah.
Have a good night, Dano. Thanks for hanging out.
They really struggled. And I guess a lot of it is like, I used to bartend, so I think I just really like relate to people and felt bad. Like, I was very grateful that I wasn't bartending when the pandemic hit, because, would have been screwed. But
Yeah, and I was fortunate enough that I was able to work the whole time. So, from my perspective, I wasn't always registering the impact, and so I was getting some work done on my tattoo not that long ago, and my artist was talking to me, and he was helping me out with schedule and pricing and stuff. And I was like, oh man, I really appreciate you doing this. I mean, you don't have to or whatever. And he's like, no, 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 you're cool. He's like, the fact that you came to me all last year, he was like, you were a huge help, like during this, at that time when, things are getting shut down, and, I he couldn't work a lot of the time, and he was like, but and a lot of people couldn't afford it, so they weren't coming in, but he was like, you were a steady client the whole time, and it meant a lot. And so when he was talking about that, I was just like, it's weird hearing that perspective. It's like, oh yeah, like he couldn't just be business as usual. Like me working on job sites by myself, like I was never really affected because that kind of stuff just keeps on rolling. So uh you talking about Vegas just opening up, yeah, it's crazy that, like, thinking about people, so many people went through just a full year of like not being able to work or working
yeah.
half as much.
And I don't know if Dano is still on the stream, but they said that they're going for the gym for the first time in 2 years. Like, it's crazy because I'm assuming I'm assuming they're from the UK. I can't really remember where Dano is from.
I think Dana's here in the States.
Oh.
Right?
I'm not really sure. Because like basically like our gyms have been open for a while. Like my gym was open. They were some of the last things to like close and some of the first things to kind of reopen. I feel like I feel like everything in America has been open for like a year, just restricted. And now it's like not as restricted. And like one of the main things is like big concerts, live venues, and like anywhere where there's like crowds of people. That's like the last thing. That's like the last frontier. Those people have been really struggling. So I wish that, it's awesome that we're working on new music and stuff, but I really wish that we were like in a good space that we wanted to play shows, because like everybody is starting to play shows now. Everyone's starting to book shows and play shows for like the end of the year, and it just looks like a lot of fun. And hopefully we just have to focus on this new record, and then we'll be hopefully getting out there and playing some shows like next year. That's the goal. I think we still need a little bit more time.
We're not ruling out, like, basically if the right opportunity came up this year, then I'm sure we're not going to turn something down, but we're not going out of our way to play anything because we need to focus on new music, because when we go out again, we want to have new things for you to be excited about. And chat, tell us if anybody in the chat is going to any notable festivals or concerts this year. Tell us about it. I want to hear, because that was something that is quite obvious recently to me, how hungry everybody's been for like live entertainment, because there's a bunch of festivals like TJ mentioned that got announced, and there was one that I really wanted to go to, Riot Fest in Chicago, straight up sold out top to bottom. They announced it like maybe a month ago or whatever, and I went to just check ticket prices, and all the general admission was sold out. And just out of curiosity, it's like I wouldn't have been able to afford to pay for any of the other stuff, but I was like, I'll just check anyways. The VIP was sold out. The super duper extra weekend package was sold out. I mean, the tickets that were like 500 to $1,000 to get a ticket, those were sold out. And so, like, to me, the fact that every single ticket for that festival was sold out like in a month was just evidence that people just want to get out. They want to see concerts. They want to see music.
That's why I like want to play this year, because I feel like everyone's gonna come. And that's been a problem. Like some turnouts can kind of be a problem, but I think everyone took for granted their bands and their live entertainment, and having a whole year and a half of not being able to go has been just like crazy. Like people are just like chomping at the bit, and no one spent money on concerts, and a lot of a lot of you guys, a lot of our fans, a lot of people who go to those festivals, that's their vacation, that's their splurge. That's when they go out and they ball out hard and they spend their money and they spend hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars. And having a whole year of not doing that means everyone has all this like extra money to blow, you know.
Right.
So I think that's why some of and they want to reward themselves and treat themselves and be like, I am getting the VIP experience, like F it, like I haven't done anything in a year, like we got extra money, like we deserve this for everything that we've been through.
Stimulus.
I mean, as if you held on to it, yeah, for sure. Like that was definitely a big help for our honeymoon and our wedding. I'm not gonna lie, like it was the reason we were able to kind of like splurge a little bit, which is nice. Like, and you know, in my opinion, like the economy needs it. So,
For sure.
Somerset is talking about Download Festival, and Doolin is talking about Hailstorm. The Hailstorm Evanescence tour, that's gonna be awesome. Garbage just announced. Garbage and Alanis Morissette rescheduled their tour, so that's starting. Everything's starting to go on sale. Stuff is starting to happen like in the fall. Some stuff is happening even right now, like June, July, like festivals. So
Yeah. By the way, did you hear the new Garbage singles?
oh my God, I haven't listened to them yet. I'm such a bad fan. They're like my favorite band.
They're pretty cool. Like I dig it. There was one I was really into. I think there's like two or three. There's like two or three songs, and I listened, and yeah, I was digging it for sure.
Yeah, there's really no excuse. I just keep forgetting to do it, and then also I kind of feel like when the album comes out, I like to listen to it front to bottom. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to save myself so I can experience the whole album.
Yeah.
It's a lame excuse.
Well, I know that feeling where it's like you don't want to like spoil if you want to have the full experience. Like Pumpkins, they were doing that like stacked singles releases, and so I was listening to every single single as it released. So then when the actual album came out, there was only, well, no, that was like a double disc. There were still like 15 songs I didn't hear, but still, like, I don't know, you kind of, it's like not wanting to watch too many trailers before the movie comes out, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey Josh, maybe you can respond to this. People are talking about in this moment, and this and that, and Derper said, speaking of shows, I'm hyped for next week. Can't wait to watch Loki. Are you going to be watching that, Josh? What are your
I have
thoughts?
Disney Plus, but I want to watch it. I still haven't watched WandaVision or Falcon yet.
Wow.
I know.
Wow, Josh,
Falcon?
I feel like you need to mute your stream right
I
now.
know. I'm a terrible example of a Marvel fan.
If you promise to watch Mandalorian, I'll give you my login info.
Actually, I can get my sister's login. I just haven't. I don't know why. But I'm excited about it for sure. I'm just gonna binge watch all of that.
Do it. There's a lot of kissing going on in our chat. I just noticed.
I love it. A lot of
It's
love.
a lot of hearts and kisses.
Sharing the love. Here, so since we're kind of semi-segueing into streaming services, like streaming platforms for like entertainment, like what do you guys have? What do you guys pay for? Because they're just getting me, man. Like there's stuff the main two that I don't like, I'm just over it. Now RuPaul is only streaming on Paramount Plus, and I'm like, I used to watch it on Wow Presents Plus, or order it or buy it on Amazon. I guess I could still buy it on Amazon Prime, but if they're not even going to have it on Amazon Prime, then I'm not going to be able to watch it unless I subscribe to what am I saying? Paramount Plus, and then there's HBO Max or HBO Plus or whatever it's called that the Friends reunion was on, and I'm just like, well, I kind of wanted to see that, but now I'm not going to subscribe to HBO, but there's a lot of good things on HBO Max, so I kind of like want to, but I'm like, I have already Hulu, Disney. I will say Discovery Plus is awesome.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm really considering. Because
Isn't
I
love
only
that like
it.
part of one of them though?
Just,
Isn't it packaged in with like Amazon or Hulu or something?
who the hell knows? Maybe.
I don't think
I
it's
think
just a
Disney
like
Plus is.
Discovery.
Disney Plus is with Hulu and ESPN, and
Mhm.
I think Discovery is its own thing, but it's only like five or $6. It's cheap, I think.
And it covers a bunch of like programs because they
Networks,
like
yeah.
own all those. Yeah.
They have a bunch of
Right.
networks, so we're watching like My Crazy Obsession, My Strange Addiction, Hoarders, like Say Yes to the Dress, all those kind of like every TLC show ever, like every History Channel, Travel Channel, like all of that stuff. Well, actually, History Channel is on Disney Plus. Travel Channel, I think, is on Discovery. So like Expedition Unknown, Ancient Aliens, like all of that kind of stuff. Every single Zach Baggins, haunted. Every single spin-off of his show that there's ever been, which was cool because we actually went to his museum in Vegas and it was absolutely awesome. It was really cool. But if you like,
I feel
Ghost
like-
Adventures, that's what it's called. So Discovery Plus, 100% worth it. Oh yeah, we have Peacock too. Isn't Peacock like free? I don't even know.
I feel like the trick is to kind of have the staples like your Amazon, Hulu, or Netflix. Like those are the staples because they have the most content. And then when these other little ones have a show you want, sign up for the free trial, binge the show, and cancel it. Or just sign up for a month, watch the show, and then cancel it.
But
'Cause there's a
nobody ever
lot-
remembers to cancel, so then you end up spending like $100 a month with like $10, $15 here and there for like.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the argument. Everybody's kind of laughing because when initially people started switching over to Netflix and these things because we were tired of paying $100 a month for
Cable,
and you didn't watch half the channels on there. Well, now we're kind of almost doing the same thing. We're going to ultimately end up spending $100 a month paying for all these individual streaming services when each service you're only watching one or two shows. But I think the best thing to do is you find a friend or a family member to break it up with since they do the sharing. It's like I pay for Hulu and the Hulu Disney Plus package, and I give my brother the login. He plays for Netflix. He gives me his login. So now we get both, but we're only paying for half. I pay for Amazon Prime anyways, just because of the delivery and ordering things. So therefore, Prime Video comes with it.
yeah.
And then Dino was nice enough to give me his HBO because he wanted me to watch a certain show. And so I had it to watch that show, but I'm still logged in. So I've been watching other stuff. I guess I should, out of principle, log out, but I don't know.
Get like the band.
It's not
HBO
costing him more
Max.
for me to continue to watch shows off of it.
What about you, Javi? Do you guys like? Are you into shows, TV? Like,
I just watch YouTube, and I don't pay for it. Skip the commercials. My parents have the Netflix, and we kind of do use their login for Netflix. My brother and friends, I guess they have. I think it's HBO Max. It's the one where like you can watch movies I guess before they come out on the theater at home or something if you have a subscription, which is pretty cool because I watched Kong, the Godzilla and King Kong, like on my brother's giant screen. That was pretty cool.
Nice.
But that's pretty much it. I don't really have any subscription services. We watch the Smile channel.
what's that?
It's like for kids.
Oh.
to teach them about the Lord, like with shows like Veggie Tales, and teaches them to count.
Cute.
Like 1, 2. Yeah.
Good old Veggie Tales. The Grapes of Wrath.
Oh, Alex says they're done with YouTube due to double ads. I kind of feel you, man. Like, you know what's really annoying too is watching a video on Facebook and having the ad like boop right in the middle of it. I never watch after the ad. Is that
right?
Yeah, that pisses me off. Like,
It's
especially if
annoying.
if you're trying to watch a podcast and you press play, you're like, okay, the podcast is on. I'm going to do something else with my headphones in. And then it comes an ad, and then it comes another ad. I'm like, son of a bitch.
It's
So then I
real.
have to go all the way to my phone to hit the skip or whatever.
It's
Hey, well, Javi, you haven't been on the streams, but we're turning these streams into a podcast. And so when we do that, if you are a patron, you get the podcast ad free.
Yeah.
Ooh.
What was
We're not going to have ads anyways because we're not sponsored by anybody.
Yeah.
We're just going to put it up for fun.
yeah, we could get sponsored eventually if we get enough people listening. But we
Okay,
like I said, we're
what's
gonna
the
need,
Nearly Dead sponsor? Is it zombie repellent? Is it
it could be anything. It could be
canned
fucking-
brains?
I was thinking more like a music gear, but we don't have regular sponsors anyway, so fuck it. Like it's not gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen.
Fun zombie stuff.
You know, I
Anybody
have
watch
people,
Army
like,
of the Dead?
I have people all the time hit me up on Instagram to be like, do you want like a discount on our shit to like be a like brand ambassador or something? And it's always like some lame shit that I've never heard of, and I'm just like,
Part of you's like, yes, because it's free. But
no, not really. Like I've never replied to any of them. I feel like it's just spam, you know. But I don't know if the Nearly Dead gets it.
they're like startups. They're just trying to, like, I'm going to make a t-shirt company. And so, you know, how do I get my brand out there? I'm going to go find influencers to wear it and promote it, kind of like we do with our music. It's like we release a single, and Friday I'm going to be throwing it out to social media influencers and being like, hey, play this so people can hear us.
Yeah.
I get pissed when people will comment on one of my posts. Like if I mention a brand or something cool, they will comment and they say, hey, DM me for a collab or something like that.
Yeah,
and I'm
promote
like,
it.
I'm like, no.
Well, because then they
You
ask
DM
you for money. They ask you for
Yeah.
money, like, hey, it's like $20 and I'll like give you a shout, or could be more. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like if you DM me if you want to like work with me, like you don't comment on my post saying for me to DM you. That's like that's so
it's like
stupid.
fishing, yeah. And Alex reminded me that they're sponsoring with $10. We cannot forget our patrons are basically our sponsors. So you guys
Right.
are the real sponsors. You guys are the real people. We listen to you guys and everything that you like. We take your opinions very seriously. You know what I mean? Like you guys are real you know, you're real fans. You're not some brand or some company or whatever that just wants to sell more of their stuff. Like you're fully invested in us and the music and us as a band, and you want to see us succeed, so you support us, and we couldn't do it without you. So we love you guys. I feel like Josh was gonna say something like 5 minutes ago, and Steve talked over him. So
Did I? Sounds like me.
I want to know what Josh
Yeah,
was
that's
gonna
pretty
say.
I don't remember. What were we talking about?
Not having sponsors or something, or HBO. I don't know. I don't.
Oh, I think I was just gonna say how bad YouTube was getting. Like,
with ads.
if there's like a 20-minute video you're watching, you'll easily get 6 ads in that one video.
Mm.
At least, like in some of like computer related videos, I mean, there's constantly ads. But I'll never pay for YouTube. I think that was the statement I was gonna say. Like, I will never pay for YouTube.
I don't think a lot of people will. I mean, we're of the YouTube era. We've been a band for like 10 years, and a lot of our success is because of YouTube. And because of the way the algorithm was back there, that's the whole reason we even have any of this going on for us today. Is because we kind of like organically got millions of views. And I just don't feel like I mean, obviously people still get millions of views, but like I don't know. I just don't think that kind of stuff happens anymore like it used to. It used to happen like all the time. I don't know how people get millions of views nowadays. I mean,
It's on TikTok now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's different with music. Like
It's
I
different
think
with music, like
nowadays for
bloggers.
music and
Yeah.
bands to get millions of views, you kind of have to have some sort of marketing backing or just be the next big thing, I think it's less organic than, because right now I think the things that are going viral are just like the trendy little quick videos and this and that.
I mean, stuff still goes viral like accidentally all the time. I mean, it still happens, but I think a lot of it is like what, it's not like a music video or a band is all of a sudden like blowing up and going viral, which kind of used to happen. Like, I feel like that's kind of like how Black Veil Brides like became a thing. That's how Justin Bieber got discovered, like whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
name your example. Somebody just said that to me the other day. Jordan's like walking around the honeymoon telling everyone she's famous. And I'm like, I'm not. Like, my band has like, a couple videos on YouTube. We have a couple million, couple million, not dollars, I wish, a couple million like views, which is very impressive. Very proud of everything we've done. But I was like, seriously, like, we're not, like, I'm not famous or whatever. So he's like, oh, well,
Yeah, but
she's internet famous. She's internet famous.
Funny.
And then somebody was like, well, Justin Bieber, like, people still talk about that, how he got discovered on YouTube. Like, people still talk about that.
I have to say, I'm working on changing my mentality. And so I was listening to a book, and they're talking about how people kind of have this, the upper limit kind of issue, where a lot of people, they don't think they deserve certain amount of success. He's saying even successful people who have millions of dollars have an issue with thinking like, well, I can't be this much more successful because either this is what I'm capable or I only deserve this much or whatever. And it's talking about pushing past that, and part of it's too, like, being able to receive and accept praise or accept your accomplishments. And so I think it is sometimes easy with us doing what we're doing, grinding and working hard, and then noticing that we also still work day jobs and stuff, and it's easy to be like, oh, well, we're not that successful, or we're not that great, or comparing ourselves to other people. But we did get very lucky, and we have had tremendous amount of success compared to a lot of people, because the people that are out, the bands and musicians out there that are selling out stadiums, the percentage of those kind of artists is so small in the grand scheme of things, of how many people are trying to do that, how many bands exist in the world. The percentage of those that have the million monthly listeners is so small, but it feels like there's so many of them because those are the ones you see all the time. Those are who you're paying attention to. But it is a little bit humbling. I've noticed a lot more recently, and going out and talking to people, and I'm just the personality type that I don't want spotlight, or I don't want to brag about myself, so I don't talk about my music to people. But if it comes up, and the other weekend, Chad held a mixer over at his house. He had a like little get together, and so we went out there, and because he's trying to start up his own business, doing different things in the industry, and he's got a studio, and so there was a lot of people there who either are getting into engineering or promoting or booking, or they're in bands too. And it's just talking to people, and a lot of these people have been singer-songwriters who are doing music here in Nashville for a little while, and we're swapping information or swapping Spotify, and they'll pull up ours, and they're like, well, 50,000 monthly listeners, that's crazy. They're like, and they show us, and it's not about the numbers, doesn't justify the quality of what you do. It's just, it's a bonus. But they'll show me there, and they have a couple hundred streams, or something, and it's just, it's easy to assume that everybody, that it's like, oh, we're not making millions of dollars, so the millions is no big deal. But then you talk to other musicians and artists who are also grinding and putting the time out there, who are maybe only able to reach hundreds or thousands, and then they see what we've done, and it's like, wow, that's like mind blowing to them. And it's kind of cool. And it's like, it's okay to be like, we're successful. We've done good things. moving forward. Gotta embrace it. Stay positive, gang.
We are a good band.
We are.
We are a good band. I miss you guys though. Like I miss being in a room together, like making music. I think not playing shows and not actively doing stuff kind of does it dissociates you with like the fact that the music still kind of like gets circulated around online anyway.
Right.
Even though songs that we put out 10 years ago, like Never Look Back.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
And thank you, patrons, because it's like Alex said, your subscription to us that is going to enable plane flights to get TJ into Nashville and Josh into Nashville and to get us in a room again. Because of Patreon, we'll all be able to get in a room again and work on new music.
Yes.
As long as Javi's not there.
Yeah.
Who's gonna fund my ukulele solo?
Is the ukulele on the acoustic album? What did you guys, dare I ask, what got done while I was gone?
I emailed that to you.
When?
Or
Like
Mo
today?
did. Whatever we finished up in the studio the other day, because I had to send a version to Josh because we needed Josh to retrack some ride on the chorus. But yeah, basically Evil Ways is all it needs is vocals and then mix and master. But we didn't start any new songs because we haven't voted on like what the next tune is.
I mean, when did he send me? I don't have anything.
Should have been. I was in the studio with him Saturday, so should be a
Well.
WeTransfer to the TJ at the Nearly Deads.
Just give out my email on public live stream, why don't you?
We'll bleep it in post. We'll bleep it in post. It's fine.
It's
It won't be on
live.
the podcast.
Hey, whatever. It's a work email. You don't check it
Oh,
anyways.
okay,
It's
here
not
it
your
is.
personal.
Dude, oh, I have to download it on my computer. Okay. You don't even know. It's not like I was checking my phone for the past 2 weeks. To be honest with you, it was a great experience. Wasn't really checking my phone, but the email he did send me something. So cool.
Cool.
I'll listen to it.
Sweet.
Do I still have to record vocals for that?
Yes.
That we can't
Because
use the
remember,
first
we
one?
had to redo Javi's rhythm.
Oh yeah.
And you tracked vocals to the old Javi rhythm. So we need you to do it to
don't call him out. I mean,
the new Javi rhythm.
No, I will speak up for myself. We showed up, and the first studio day was, I mean, it was fine. I think honestly we should have just prepared more, because
yeah, we talked about
it
that.
was a learning.
We talked about
Yeah,
that
it
on
was
another stream.
Nice.
Like how we kind of thought we'll just phone it in as just acoustic. It's songs we played 1,000 times, right?
Basically, and yeah, we didn't realize the process of doing an acoustic record. We're so used to just the process of doing our normal full blown, and so I think our approach was just like, oh yeah, Javi, you can just double this up to click and not have any sort of reference. And
That was the worst.
Oh.
So we kind of threw Javi under the bus. But it sounds fantastic now. So, and the acoustic in this song, I think, sounds so much fuller, and I like it a lot. So the only topic like that I thought to bring up, I mentioned earlier that I wanted to bring up because it was a post I made a little bit ago that just got a ton of traffic, and so I thought maybe it might be a good discussion topic for our streamers here. But so first of all, I was looking back at Facebook, and it was the ketchup and ranch one that was insane. Okay, so the topic I want to do also did well. It had like 150 comments on Instagram and like almost 200 on Facebook. Well, I just was looking back at it. The ketchup and mustard one got like 600 comments on Facebook.
Way.
Everybody
awesome.
was just commenting. Everybody loves their condiments, basically. But so the topic I thought might be fun to talk about was, so I saw PlayStation, the official Twitter account, tweeted a post saying, like, it said, "Don't think about it, just answer from your heart. Greatest video game soundtrack of all time." And so I had retweeted it and I had posted about it. And so we got hundreds of comments of people just like messaging saying their favorite video game soundtracks. And there's like a cool list, a good variety there. But maybe we can just make it even more broad, just speaking soundtracks in general, like whether it's film or television or video games. Are there any soundtracks that you all that are meaningful to you? Like, it says greatest, so I mean, I guess you could look at it from a like a critical, like, oh, what do you think critically was the greatest? Or maybe it's just something that just like speaks to you, that you watched that film or played that game growing up and it means something to you whenever you hear that music. So I'll let Josh start.
Oh, go ahead, Josh.
I'll let Josh start, and streamers, friends, go ahead and make your comments. Which, by the way, I noticed Natty Attack in YouTube used friends that I coined, and it's becoming a thing.
Yeah, well, so for video game and soundtrack, as in like a collection of songs from bands, because different from the score. So soundtrack would definitely be like a Tony Hawk Pro Skater that like paved the way for everything I do in life. It's based on Tony Hawk Pro Skater soundtrack.
Well, let me ask you specifically, Josh, the entire soundtrack or just Goldfinger?
No, the entire soundtrack.
Okay.
There's
some great bands.
And it kind of, there's definitely blurred lines as far as what songs were on which Pro Skater, but between the first two, that whole collection of song was just so good. Yeah. So for video game, definitely.
What about shows or TV? Do you have is there anything that ever?
So a movie like soundtrack. Oh, movie soundtracks. American Pie had like all the Blink
and you don't have to narrow yourself. It's not necessarily. I think they just mean like music in general. Like, it can be a score. It doesn't have to be like a like you said.
Now on a whole nother path.
Yeah. Because all the I would say 95% of the comments were all scores. But some people did mention, like you said, like a Tony Hawk's or a lot of racing games. Like here in the comments right now, we have Alex mentioned MCR's Planetary in Gran Turismo. So like, it can be either or.
Yeah.
Don't limit yourself, Josh.
Well, this is what I'll do for video game soundtrack. I'll definitely give it to Tony Hawk Pro Skater. For a score, that's a tough one because there's so many good ones. They all make me. There's so many feels involved with the score. Honestly, like anything Disney comes out with literally pulls on my heartstrings. But I really love like the Harry Potter score. That's just so iconic to me. And that brings back a memory of being in like 5th grade when all that was coming out and stuff. So I'll say the Harry Potter score. Harry Potter.
Nice.
In the films, yeah.
I got to see the Nashville Symphony does where the symphony plays along to the film when you go to the movie. I got to see the Harry Potter one where you watch Harry Potter and then the symphony plays the music, and it was pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
So Javi, how about you?
Probably for video games, I like the Kingdom Hearts sounds.
Nice.
There's another game. I don't know if you guys played it. It's called Rome Total War. It's
Yeah,
got
a
like
while
really
ago.
awesome. Yeah, it's got really awesome, like just like that Roman, like old, awesome, like Middle Eastern women singing and like the echo chamber. Like it's just killer
Yeah.
sounds.
That's awesome.
And then for probably like the movie, just anything Lord of the Rings, because it just anytime I hear it, I'm like immediately in that world, and I'm like, nice.
It does get you pumped up for like all the traveling across the land montages when the like soaring horns. There's a lot of horns that they use. It's
Yeah.
good. Javi, I'm surprised for video games you didn't say Mortal Kombat. Isn't that like your favorite game?
It is my favorite game, but like in the game, there isn't really like a lot of like, there isn't really a lot of like unique like music in the backing. It's just kind of like that.
You're telling me you
Just
didn't get the soundtrack in the 90s, like when it came out and they had that banger of a techno song?
I don't think I was old enough to, but like I don't think I bought a CD until like
No, yeah.
years later. But I love that song. I love that song. But I didn't know that they had a soundtrack for the movie.
Yeah, I think so. I had a friend, Devon, in elementary school, and he had all the coolest CDs that I couldn't have because they were secular music. And one time he let me borrow them so I could burn them. And I'm just gonna tell you right now, the CDs that I burned was the Mortal Kombat soundtrack, Big Willie style,
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Aqua,
Nice.
and Quad City DJs.
Yes.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
That's a great array.
And that was like Steven's burned CDs, like from Devon's collection.
Nice.
So TJ.
Oh, dude. Going for the, the PlayStation, they were just like, without thinking, what's the best video game soundtrack? I immediately go Skyrim. Beautiful score, like the Dovahkiin, da 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 da. Like we sing it to our cat, like we make up words to it, and it fucking hypes me up. So
Tommy's nerdy little nephew knows all the lyrics, like in the proper, like he could sing it to us.
And did somebody said the Revenge of the Sith? I don't know if that is that the same as the Darth Maul, like dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
That's so good. And we're getting a couple shout outs for John Williams, obviously huge inspiration. I also really like Hans Zimmer. Like hearing the Batman Begins soundtrack for the first time was like, that was a pretty life-changing moment. That's pretty bringing it into like some 20th century kind of techniques.
What he did in Interstellar was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was very minimal, but
I just, I have a composition degree. So if you want to go sentimental, when I was a kid, my dad got me on cassette tape the soundtrack to because I always loved film scores, even when I was a kid. So I loved 101 Dalmatians, the live action one.
Mm-hmm.
They had that like ridiculous Snoop Dogg song on there or whatever, or Lil Bow Wow. You remember that song anyway? And then also like Toy Story. I got the soundtrack to Toy Story, and it was a score, and I would like literally listen to them start to finish and be like,
Randy Newman.
Listen, well, there's only like 2 Randy Newman songs. Otherwise, the whole thing is just a score.
Yeah, but he composed the whole thing.
Yeah, so it was an amazing like. Those 2 cassettes, I still have them. I still own them. Like that was the moment when I like figured out, I guess, that I wanted to become a composer, because I already played piano. I was a kid, but I wasn't super young. But those like were very like life changing. It was like for my parents to buy me like soundtracks instead of with like film scores. And we listen to classical music and stuff as well. I had like cassettes with like classical music on it. I loved listening to it. And I guess that's why I kind of pursued a music degree in composition. I was like, this is what I wanted to learn how to do. And then, I kind of learned how to orchestrate and do all of that in college. So it was like a very full circle moment. And I would still like to do something like that someday. I just really, God, where do you get started? Like, it's one of those things. It's a tough industry as well. And there's very, very few people that do it. So,
well, that are
like
find
super
success
famous.
in it.
Yeah,
Because
like super
I would say
famous.
with technology now, everybody's trying to do it. When I go to an event like the Global Game Jam, which is video, sort of like the film festivals that I do sometimes, but it's video games, and you would think everybody be there to make video games, and I show up in Nashville, and of the 100 people that are there, 60 of them are composers. It's like, who's gonna make the games here? We got
like
half. We could have we're gonna have more soundtracks than
games
than video games. But
and then I do want to give another shout out, because I was like Googling real quick, because Josh had mentioned like a soundtrack, as in like a soundtrack, not a score.
Right. Yeah.
So those two films are going to be Cruel Intentions and the Romeo and Juliet remake with Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, those soundtracks are just like define my life, man. Like, I remember watching Cruel Intentions in high school, and like Placebo is on there, like the Verve. Like, I just became obsessed with Placebo after I heard that song, like in the opening scene, like the guitar riff, and she's like, anyway, like those are just, and those movies too are kind of just like bring me back to like a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's epic.
And then Fight Club, obviously, but I don't really. Basically, the whole like Dust Brothers soundtrack to Fight Club is all that like in kind of industrial techno-y stuff, which isn't. I'm not
late
sitting around
90s.
Here, I'm not sitting. I know 1999. Yeah. I'm not sitting around here listening to that, but at the very end, when you hear the Pixies, man, that and Where Is My Mind is one of my favorite songs of all time.
Oh yeah,
Pixies are one of my favorite bands. Like, you cannot, that moment in that movie where that happens, like at the very end of the movie, and like that song kicks on, it's just like everything's right in the world.
That is one of those very kind of
iconic like song and
movie,
epic,
like, kind of crescendoing, emotional kind of. Sidebar, did you know Pixies had beef? Like, apparently, I was like listening to, I think on Free Beer and Hot Wings was talking about like artists who had like beef within themselves, and we all know about like Oasis and stuff like that, but apparently in the Pixies, because the singer or whatever, the male singer was the one that was basically writing everything. And then the girl singer, does she also play bass, I think?
Yeah.
Or she wrote, what was it, Gigantic?
Yeah. Well,
she wrote that song, and it got really big, and he got jealous. It was just like basically like, no, you can't write anymore. Like, I'm the writer. I'm the only one that writes.
Dude, that's very Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh, like when James Iha like wrote Mayonnaise.
But no, just the fact that Billy Corgan was like, why would anyone else write? Like, he just
yeah.
Like listening to that in that long ass interview that he did, and he spills all the tea about everything. He was like, at the time, like, they were young and naive, and they never but then they got successful, and he was the only writer, and then he was like, nobody ever told me like I should split this with my band, and like that was a good idea or whatever.
Yeah.
So
anyway. Another interesting fact I heard on another show was you talked about Toy Story, and Randy Newman did that. I didn't realize that the Newmans are like a dynasty. Like,
yeah,
I know about Thomas Newman, but apparently there's like 8 of the Newmans, and they're all like composers. Like, his parents were like composers of old films and stuff, but like and then Randy Newman did like Toy Story and A Bug's Life, and so he was kind of the beginnings of Pixar, and then Thomas Newman took over and did like Wall-E and or Finding Nemo, some of the later Pixar stuff. But yeah, I was like, I didn't realize there was like 8 of them. I knew about Randy and Thomas, and that was it. Before I do mine, I'm going to go through these comments because we've got some good ones on here. Irk over in YouTube brought up Mass Effect, which that does have a really great score. The remaster just came out, so I've been playing that and listening. It's very sci-fi and it's good. Like TJ said, there's some other people. TJ said about John Williams, people shouting out John Williams. We got some people shouting out Skyrim. Doug brought up Brutal Legend. That was the fun Tim Schafer game with Jack Black in it, and it was like all about him in this metal band. He was like a guitar tech for this metal band, and he goes to hell, and it's such a hilarious game, and the music's so metal. It's awesome. That's a fun one. Let's see. Some other people said he brought up Revenge of the Sith. Sucker Punch did have a good soundtrack. Quad City DJs. So yeah, for
like
me,
a blast from the past, man.
If for me, I would say for games, I think the ones that really kind of stood out to me were when I was a kid and got an N64 and played Ocarina of Time. Like hearing that score orchestrally, and it's all the songs on that are so it's almost very John Williams for a game. It's a Japanese composer, but where there's so many memorable melodies and hooks that just repeat, and it's epic. And that was like the first time as a kid, and it's like, what games can have this kind of emotion in the music as well? Because before that, you're playing all these 2D games that have chip tune and stuff, and it's beeps and boops, and then all of a sudden I'm playing N64 and this soundtrack comes in and I feel like I'm watching Jurassic Park or something, and so that was pretty epic. And then the Silent Hill games, what Akira did with that, where it was just like he's a guitarist and plays in a band, and so it's like this weird genre blend of soundtracky type instruments, but also with like percussion, like full drum kit and guitar riffs and stuff. And then he also used a lot of like real life, like industrial sounds, like sort of like in the movie Eraserhead, where it's like he made this creepy somber score but then some of the percussion is like chains and metal things clanking together, and it was a really cool thing that hearing it, I'm like, oh, you don't have to stick to rudimentary instruments. You can branch out and blend all these genres and things together, and it was really cool. If I'm going with films, I would agree, like there's so many amazing composers out there that I love, but I mean, as a John Williams, for me, just as a child, like getting me into music, there's just nothing more memorable than his scores, like Harry Potter, Jaws, Star Wars, Jurassic Park, whatever, name it, he's done it. But I do also like the very 80s, like some of the synth composers, like John Carpenter writes a lot of his music for his films, and the Halloween soundtrack's so memorable and some of those things. And if we were talking soundtracks, Guardians of the Galaxy had a good soundtrack, good mix of artists in there. Dumb and Dumber had a good mix of songs in theirs. Tommy Boy had a great, especially when they're like singing along in the car.
I feel like soundtracks are really like Guardians of the Galaxy stood out to people because it had a soundtrack full of songs, and it was all like 70s and 80s music. But in the 90s, like that's what movies had. They had soundtracks. Like they didn't have really scores.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Or
like all those movies
if it's
that
like
we're
a
mentioning.
blend.
Yeah.
Which Guardians had a blend too. It's just like a lot of times, like in the 90s, I think the soundtrack just like outshadowed
But like a
the
soundtrack could like
score.
what movie is it that the soundtrack is better than the movie? What am I thinking of?
Probably Charlie's Angels. I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there.
There's like a really like I was googling this earlier cuz I'm like is it like the 10 Things I Hate About You soundtrack or like well that's a good movie too. But
What was the one that had Scotty Doesn't Know? Everybody liked that one there.
man. Oh, Empire Records maybe? But Scotty Doesn't Know is from
Is that a Euro trip?
Can't Hardly Wait. That has a good soundtrack too. Maybe Euro Trip though with the Scotty Doesn't Know song. I'm gonna Google it.
I don't know, but yeah, I guess that could be true.
Yeah, it's Euro Trip.
Euro trip.
And if we're gonna talk television, the obvious answer is Frasier. That's the best.
Yeah.
Every time that intro comes on. I
but
will
what
say
about,
though,
like,
but I mean, everybody loves Friends. You know, you think of the ones that you sing along. Everybody loves Golden Girls, but I made a post. I think I tweeted on the band's because I've been running the band's Twitter, so you guys don't check it. So I speak for all of you with my own opinions when I cheat on there or tweet on there. And
yeah.
and so I put hot take Cheers theme better than Golden Girls.
Ooh, I don't know, man. Oh, look, Moo.
Yeah.
I love
in my opinion, I think the Cheers theme is better than Golden Girls.
That just like broke me. Because I'm a massive Cheers fan and I'm a massive Golden Girls fan. Like
Thank you for being a friend.
No, I would literally have to keep Cheers. I love the Golden Girls, but I would have to keep Cheers. It's too iconic.
Yeah, where everybody knows your name.
And I feel like Cheers is an older show than the Golden Girls. As I feel like Cheers came first.
Probably. It feels like it did. Golden Girls seems a little more like late 80s, early 90s. Their outfits.
Can you believe the Golden Girls? Oh, MASH is iconic, as says Doug. It is.
That's true.
Yeah. That's an iconic theme song as well and show. Oh, what was I just going to say, though, before I saw MASH? I forgot. Sorry. I was like, MASH. Like, bringing back memories of being a kid and watching that. Bye, Moomie. There she goes. Can you open the door? Nope. She got in here.
She's a raptor.
Bye.
It's like in Jurassic Park. They've learned to open doors.
She's fine. She's fine. Dude,
that's kind of almost like a requirement for a TV show to be successful is to have like a memorable opening theme. Like, I mean, 70s show that had a great theme. We're all right. We're all right.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cleveland Rocks from like the Drew Carey show.
Yeah.
That was pretty. That was
cool. Good.
I feel like people like everything.
Fresh Prince. I mean, what does everybody remember from Fresh Prince?
Yeah.
Opening song.
Yeah. What about you, Javi? What's like a opening song? Like, what's a good theme song that you can't live without?
Happy Days.
There you go.
Real good.
Solid. That's solid.
I liked Laverne and Shirley. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, good opening scene too. The Simpsons, but that's instrumental.
Yeah.
That's Danny Elfman. I don't think I ever realized that until I watched his masterclass, and I was like, "Damn, Danny Elfman." And he
came up with it on a plane ride,
like or something. He wrote it like in his garage, and it took him like a half an hour.
Yeah. genius.
Oh, Richard says the X-Files theme.
Oh yeah, that's solid.
Yeah.
Love that one. I wonder. So but I would say everything that we're shouting out is like 2000 and earlier. Do modern shows really do
Theme songs?
themes? I know they have musical intros, a lot of them, but I'm trying to think of any of the shows that I watch now if it has like lyrics. Like Sunny has the song, but that's just stock. That's a stock song that they use.
Yeah.
All the music in Sunny it's stock music, which makes it funny. I'm trying to think of something recently.
I would say like The Office, but it's not a new show. Like honestly,
No.
it's kind of an older show now.
Oh, I would say I love What We Do in the Shadows and the song, but they didn't. I mean, I guess it's the same as Friends. It wasn't like that song was written for Friends. Like,
Right.
the song they use in What We Do in the Shadows is this girl from the 70s. And she only had one album, I think, and then she died or something. But because I looked her up and her album's really good, but that song and that intro is really good. I like it.
I don't even know if there's like the age of sitcoms is like over, right? Like there are, I don't know.
Laugh track sitcoms for sure. I don't know. There's some I just don't watch them because I'm not a huge fan. But I would say like Big Bang Theory is kind of a sitcom, or How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah. I just don't really watch those shows.
New
I don't
Girl.
really watch them.
Yeah. Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
But even New Girl is like old. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is like old. I'm thinking of like stuff that came out like, Nine or New Girl, like that's not memorable to me.
Yeah, they're just kind of like little musical intros. They don't have the same.
They don't have like that iconic. I don't even know. I don't watch The Big Bang Theory, but you think of how massively successful that show is that we'd all know the theme song and like nobody mentioned that theme song.
Well, the theme song.
I'm one of the few people that didn't watch it.
Like the Bare Naked Ladies do their theme song.
Yeah, it's written by the Bare Naked Ladies.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I didn't really watch that show, but I do. I think I would know the theme song if I heard it, because I've seen like the intro of the show.
It goes like, well, there was a and it's taking you throughout history and time, and like it starts out with the dinosaurs, and then it evolves of how we got to here. Like there's too much lyrics to like remember how the song goes, but it's kind of like fast paced and catchy and
very Bare Naked Ladies.
you can definitely recognize his voice, because I was like, I know that voice.
Wait, Doug just said the Bare Naked Ladies didn't even remember the song. It was just some throw off song they did.
Yeah.
Is that true?
So it wasn't written for the show? I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe it just perfectly
that would be funny
fit.
though. I don't know. That was one of those shows that I feel like I should have been into, being a nerd, but I tried. My roommates were really into it. I watched 2 episodes and I was like, this isn't funny. I don't like it. And so I just never watched it again.
I was the same way with like Parks and Rec and The Office. I was like, this isn't funny to me. But those shows in particular, you got to watch from the very beginning, and then you get all the you get to know the characters, I guess. So it's not like you can pick up one of those shows like in the middle of it. I don't think you'd understand the humor. I didn't. And so maybe it's like that with Big Bang Theory. I don't really know. I just don't really think it's that.
I think it's just not the kind of humor that I'm into. Yeah. I don't like How I Met Your Mother either, really. Like Office and Parks and Rec, I enjoy those because I like dry humor.
Ooh, so
I like subtle dry humor, and those are kind of more
Scrubs
zany comments all the time. Like
Scrubs.
Scrubs is a great show.
Scrubs,
they have a pretty good theme song too. Is that the one that's like, I'm not Superman? Is that Scrubs?
Yeah.
See, I know it. See, I know it.
I'm your Superman.
And then Richard said, I didn't like it because it mocked nerd culture rather than embraced it like Community did. It's a great show.
It's so funny. Watch the first season and it's the pilot episodes. It had like a different, like just kind of generic intro. It wasn't until like I think midway first season that they swapped over to like the new.
You know
the
what
official...
I am ashamed. You know what I do need to do is like rewatch Community. I try to get the thing is like I try to get Jordan into these shows and he's just like meh. Like
What? How does he not like Community?
I don't know. I was like, you need to watch this. We're gonna and it's on Netflix now. Like they got renewed on Netflix because the show got canceled, and it was such a fan favorite that they renewed it on Netflix, kind of like Arrested Development. So they had like a season or two on just Netflix, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna watch this until I like refresh because it had been years since I saw the show. I was like, I'm gonna watch it from the beginning, and I was like, Jordan, this is gonna be our new show because we watch Parks and Rec and we do all that, and like the Troy and Abed in the morning, and like Childish Gambino's on there. Jordan doesn't get any of it. He's just like, I don't get why this is funny, and I'm just like cracking up. I'm like, no, trust me, this is like the best show. And
Pierce. But see, I would think Jordan would like it because he basically spoofs nerd culture where like you get the paintball episodes that are like spoofing Call of Duty and like, you know, the Dungeons and Dragons episodes. It's like Jordan loves video games. He loves nerdy things. Like they spoof Back to the Future. You know, it's like every episode's like a spoof of a different kind of nerd culture.
I think he just needs to. He's one of those people who like still puts The Office on when he goes to bed. It's like I think he just needs to branch out.
Shirley, everybody loves Shirley, good old Shirley.
Oh my God, that show is just so funny. And then I try to get him also to watch like Schitt's Creek. I love Schitt's Creek.
So good.
And he's never seen a single episode. So when I'm watching, like I'm trying to watch the final season right now. I haven't finished it. And then, you know what? That's maybe what I will do when I get off the stream is I will go ahead and have some me time and watch Schitt's Creek. Because that's the thing. I can't watch it with him because he's just like, I don't get it. I don't know what's going on. What's so funny about the way that he said this or that? Like, why is this funny to you? And I'm like,
funny.
If anything, Jordan needs to watch that show in training to be the best husband ever because the dad is the epitome of what a man should be. The dedication that dad has to that family and providing for them and loving and caring. When they shit on him all the time, like he is always getting dumped on, but he just doesn't let it phase him. He's just like, I love my family. I'm here to provide. I'm going to do whatever it takes.
Like my mom and my sister call me Alexis all the time. And I think I'm more of a Moira. Like
maybe a blend.
Like her
maybe
fashion. Her fashion and like I don't know. Like when I see Moira, I'm like, I want to be like that when I'm older. I want to dress
Your
like that. Your
family's saying you're catty, basically.
Catty. I don't know. They just make fun of the way I talk, I guess. They think I'm spoiled.
I've just really been into European shows, just like comedies specifically. I just think they're really nailing it with the humor as opposed to like American shows. And I'll randomly discover some and I'll binge it till it's over. Like most recently on Amazon, there's one called Frank of Ireland, and it is hilarious. It's basically like an Irish version of It's Always Sunny. And I binged that. And then on Netflix, there's Sex Education, and that's super funny.
I heard that a couple streams ago said that was a really funny show.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like hilarious. It's got funny things about it, but it's also like heartwarming, and I don't know. It's a good show, but there's 2 seasons. There's a 3rd coming out this year. I'm ready for it. I started watching it and I became obsessed, and I felt weird because I was like, this is kind of teen drama because it's all about like kids in high school and going through puberty and figuring life out. and it's about their relationship. So it kind of feels like, am I watching a WB show? But it's like also very well written to appeal to adults. So I started and I got immediately hooked, and I think I binged 2 seasons in a week. I was like, I couldn't get enough of it.
There's this one show on Netflix. I can't remember what the name of it was, but I could tell you what it was about. It's about this guy, and in his heart, he loved to do like beauty pageants, but he was a straight guy. But everything about him was so feminine and but he was straight, and he just loved to do that. And I don't know why, but I just was like, let me just watch the first episode. I had to know what it was about. And ever since that first episode, each episode after that got super weird and super awkward and super just like, oh my God, I cannot believe I'm watching this. But I couldn't stop watching it. If you ever been in that situation, you're just like, shit.
Now Javi's wants to do beauty pageants. He's all in now.
I mean, he is suave after all, so.
Hey.
Do your little turn on the catwalk.
Yeah.
Well,
Is it?
where are we at?
I mean, I feel like it's time to wrap up. We've got 10 minutes left. Maybe take a couple of questions from les fans.
Fran's, it's the thing.
Thank you guys for listening to us ramble on about movies and TV shows today. I feel like that's basically what we talk about at every live stream, because apart from making music, clearly all we do in our spare time is watch TV and play video games. And, since when did there have to be something wrong with that? Who cares?
Appreciate it.
I remember somebody being slightly judgmental about it early on in our career.
Video games, yeah, I know. I also used to hate cats. So
Who?
Me.
Who used to hate cats? Oh, you. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you did used to hate cats. Now you're like a crazy cat lady.
I am.
You're the one from The Simpsons. You run out, scream at kids, and just throw cats.
No. I wish Jordan would let me have another cat. I keep telling him I want another cat, and he's just like, it's just not. You know what? I feel like I've said this on a stream before, but why don't I just go out and buy a fucking cat? I can. I'm an adult. What's he gonna do?
Of your own money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Is he gonna throw it on the street?
You got to get a cat when it's a baby, though. Otherwise, it's already trained all wrong.
Right.
It sucks, but you really have to get a cat when it's just born. Otherwise, you can't stop it from unlearning all of its bad habits.
Right. Let's see. What's the chat saying? Dexter's theme. Alex wants to thank us for streaming. And now, let's see. And now he's going to finally read some of his book for his car license.
Well, good luck with that. Sounds like you're going to take a driver's test soon. Watch out. Watch out, people.
Irk in YouTube says the cats are awesome. And Richard is thanking us for the stream.
I had a question because I wanted to ask the band, because Javi had mentioned something about his first CD.
My first CD, or who's
first
CD?
Your first CD. Do you remember when you were talking about that earlier?
Oh yeah, the first CD I ever bought or something, or was given to me.
Yeah.
What about it? You want to know what it was? Or something?
I feel like we should all go around and say what our first CD was / cassette.
I feel like that would be embarrassing.
Or maybe the first one that you went out and paid your own money for, and we're like, I need this.
Okay. I got two. So the first CD that I ever got was an album, and I didn't know this, but apparently the Backstreet Boys were massive in every single country, in all the countries except for the US. The US was the last place that they became successful. And then once that happened, they became a phenomenon. So at the time I was living in Germany, and I got the first CD I ever got was a Backstreet Boys album. It was actually their first album. And like, it's not even on their Spotify. Like if you go on their Spotify and do Backstreet Boys, like you're not going to see it, but it's like a red album, and you can go on YouTube and look it up and stream it there. But apparently that was all released in Europe. So that was my first CD that I ever got. And I love that album. I was retarded.
Little hobby, like rocking out to, um,
Oh yeah. I always think, for some reason, I've always grown up thinking I'm a rock guy, but apparently like with some
no.
research and I'm actually a pop guy.
That's who you are.
Dude,
But
that's
yeah,
all
and then
I've been listening to for months is just pop.
it's good. And then for the first CD I ever bought, paid for with my own money, or that I convinced my mom to get me, was Enema of the State, Blink-182.
Nice.
I had to have that record. I was like, Mom, I know she's a naughty nurse, but let me have it, please.
Oh man, I could picture your mom like going to the
Oh
store,
man,
and like picking up
That
that CD
sweet
and just being
angel.
like, I don't
the
know
way
why
the way that
Miho
I
wants this.
That's so
the
funny.
way that I convinced, the way that I got it, and it didn't have an explicit, because it was at Walmart, and Walmart has all their CDs edited. So I was like, see, it's edited. There's nothing bad in it. It's just the cover.
That's awesome. What about you,
Yeah.
Joshy?
Yeah, my first CD and Now 4, because Now 4 had all the small things on it. So it was like
Yep.
but it was the same story. It was a Walmart copy, so it was edited, and it didn't have the explicit. And I don't know why, they must not have thought anything, like when my parents picked it up, that there's just like a porn star on the cover. But, yeah, that was. And I can't really remember the first CD I actually, because that was a gift. It was an Easter present. I can't really remember the first CD I actually bought. It was either like City of Evil, Avenged Sevenfold, or like Angels and Airwaves. One of those two were probably the first I like purchased. But Angels and Airwaves seems to. I was like in high school when that came out, but my first CD was Enema of the State. Yeah, that was like mine.
That says, I feel like that just,
That's
I
mine.
feel like it reveals a lot about your personality when, knowing that you two, that was like your first CD and stuff, and it's like still a big influence in your life.
Oh
like
yeah.
I think that those formative bands, those formative years, like make you the musician and like the person that you are today. So I feel like that's why I want to know, like, I'm not surprised. I would have guessed. If you would have been like, guess what my first CD ever was, I would have probably guessed that one.
Yeah.
Same with Javi. What about Steve?
Man, it's hard to like piece it all together in like a timeline or figure out, because a lot of it too is, I mean, I'm old enough to remember cassettes and having cassettes, and like, so I'm like, well, did I have that on cassette or CD? And then trying to remember, like, okay, what did I actually purchase, or what was like given to me? But so thinking about CDs, like in my younger years, like in middle school, like my parents didn't want me listening to secular radio, so it was like I either listened to classic rock, which they listened to, or Christian rock. And it's funny that they were so censoring about secular radio, but let me listen to classic rock, and you listen to the lyrics in those songs, it's all about being high and doing drugs and sex all the time. So I don't really think they saved me from anything. But so when I was young, it was like those were the things I was getting exposed to. But obviously, being a kid, you don't always want to listen to what your parents tell you to. And so I'm trying to think of first CDs, but yeah, like I mentioned earlier in the stream, like I remember burning those discs from my friend, and then I remember having the Now albums with, because I remember having like one that had like TLC on it and Destiny's Child and Sugar Ray, and like, so I think my first CDs that I like had and like listened to were actually more like pop, and like I had some in middle school. I listened to a lot of rap, and like it was like pop and rap and stuff you'd hear. And it's so, but as far as like actually buying CDs, I don't think I actually bought my own CDs until I was like in high school. And at that point, I was really into ska and like pop punk. So it would have been something like Reliant K or Supertones or Good Charlotte, or those were like kind of the bands I was listening to at the time.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go quick, and then I have a couple questions I want to answer, and then I'm going to read you guys the track list to Now That's What I Call Music 4. Because it's fucking lit. All right. So my first cassette tape was Dookie, Green Day. My parents had no idea what they were giving me. I was very young. I loved When I Come Around. That was like my favorite song when I was like a 5th grader. And then my first CD that was gifted to me on my birthday was Chumbawamba Tub Thumping.
Nice.
And I wore it out. And then the first CD I ever bought for myself, I think I bought like singles, because they still did like CD singles back then. But the one that stands out for me in my mind is Christina Aguilera, her like debut album.
Okay.
And then I was obsessed. So thinking of the mix of like Green Day, Christina Aguilera, and Chumbawamba, I feel like that really defines me as a performer.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Definitely.
I think so.
I feel like I'm like Christina Aguilera was, I don't know, in Green Day. I wish. That is my dream. So back to Richard had a question about knowing somebody who is like a small UK based band or singer, and they keep trying to convince them to get a Patreon. What should I say to convince them? Do you guys have any like sage advice for like, my advice is just, you really have nothing to lose by starting a Patreon. And people love to support you, and they love to support your music. So even if it's just a small amount of money coming in, I wouldn't get past any feeling of like guilt or shame about asking for money, because like, you're an artist and you need it. So you really have nothing to lose there. I don't think anyone really looks at Patreon as begging for money or asking for charity or anything like that. So I'm just guessing that might be why they have reservations about it. What do you guys think?
You basically, I saw that question earlier, and that would exactly be what I'd say is, what do you have to lose? It doesn't cost you anything to make one. So just make it. People take to it, great. If they don't, no.
I'd say most bands and YouTube influencers and stuff like that have them.
Yeah.
Not like it's taboo or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty common.
Yeah.
It just like cuts out that middleman. It gets you content that you want, like, right. And then it also, for me, inspires me to continue to be creative, because we all go through like ruts and stuff. But when you know that like monthly you've got to post something, it's like it keeps you from slacking off, for lack of a better like term. Like it gives me a reason to be like, all right, well, I got to film a video, I got to do something, because I got my patrons, I got people waiting on me, I got people who want to see me. And it kind of
inspired our acoustic album, and that kind of is flexing our artistic muscles, putting us outside our.
It gives you a reason to like keep creating content. I feel like it's really easy, especially for like someone who's just starting out or is not that well known, to just kind of be complacent, and you're not really steadily recording or releasing music. But having a Patreon kind of like gets you on, like, I don't know, lights a fire under your ass to be like, all right, well, I've got all these people who are like paying me, so they want content. So it's like, I've got to do something. And thank you for the subscription because Richard just joined the Patreon. So thank you so much.
Yes.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Richard. Also, shout out to Sulkweath and YouTube. Make an appearance.
Yes.
Yes. My boy. You're my boy, Blue.
I love this. I listened to classical music almost exclusively growing up. The first music I purchased with the Nearly Deads. That's awesome.
Nice.
Super cool.
Growing up, I listened to a lot of classical as well, I guess, but also like whatever your parents listen to, right? So it's going to be Billy Joel, the Beatles, stuff like that for my parents.
Dire Straits, Doobie Brothers.
Oh my God.
The Doors.
I can remember buying my own Metamorphosis by Hilary Duff. Okay. Do you guys have anything else to add before I go through That's What I Call Music track list?
No, I think this will be a good wrap up to the live stream and for all the podcast listeners who have been
and I already know
well done with their commute a long time ago.
What did you say, Joshy?
I already know some of those hits on that album because I had it.
I remember specifically having That's What I Call Music 3. Okay, so this is pre-4. But I'm going to read, because I'm a couple years older than Josh, whatever. But so I'm going to read this, and y'all I hope you're sitting down. I hope you're ready for this. Number 1 track, Larger Than Life by the Backstreet Boys. Number 2, Crazy by Britney Spears. 3, I Need to Know by Mark Anthony. 4, Candy by Mandy Moore. In case y'all don't know, Mandy Moore was a pop star. She's not just an actress and whatever she's doing these days. She's very successful.
13 or whatever, the 30 meters that she was in that shark movie.
Was she? She's a
It was
very,
like called 30
very
meters
accomplished actress.
Like
she's done a lot of indie films. But yeah, in case you forgot, she also sang Candy. Number 5, Blue by Eiffel 65.
I love that song.
That's so good.
I was definitely jamming that song with that album.
Blue, like I literally was at the skating rink to that song. Number 6, It Feels So Good by Sonique. 7, I Belong to You by Lenny Kravitz. Oh my God, I Knew I Loved You by Savage Garden.
Ooh.
So this is a song that, like, I don't know, 8-year-old me sat next to the radio and recorded on a cassette tape and like cried and was like, I knew I loved you before. Like Savage Garden is so, and a lot of you guys they're from the UK, right? So you got to know who Savage Garden is, right? But like, that like I would have been that meme that's like the kid like turning it up to 11, like just crying like at 8 years old. like, oh my God. All right. I Want to Know by Joe. Try Again by Aaliyah. Rest in peace. Waiting for Tonight by J-Lo.
Oh, geez.
Can you believe she's probably on now That's What I Call Music 4 and like the top charts of today at 50 years old. Like, what a career.
Yeah.
Get It On Tonight by Montel Jordan. Steal My Kisses by Ben Harper. Oh yeah, that's like always want to steal my kisses from you. Like, yeah, cute. That's a cute song. I didn't know it was that old. Then the Morning Comes by Smash Mouth.
Yeah.
That's a good song.
Yeah.
Meet Virginia by Train.
That was the first band I saw live, technically.
Train? Who knew Train was that old?
Yeah.
I Try by Macy Gray. I feel so old. Y'all remember when we opened up for Macy Gray at Pride Fest in Milwaukee? And like Macy Gray, we're like, she's a legend. I can't believe that was the era. This Time Around by Hanson and All the Small Things by Blink-182. I don't even want to look at what year that is because it's going to make us all feel old as shit.
It had to have been 2000, I'd say, around
probably.
there.
Yeah, probably. Okay. Oh, now That's What I'll Call Music 3 has American Woman by Lenny Kravitz, What's My Age Again by Blink-182.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Mhm.
Bailamos by Enrique Iglesias. Sometimes by Britney Spears. All I Have to Give by Backstreet Boys. Tell Me It's Real by Casey and JoJo. The Rockefeller Skank by Fatboy Slim. Nookie by Limp Bizkit.
Oh, yes.
Special by Garbage. If I Could Turn Back the Hands of Time by R. Kelly. Get Gone by Ideal. Shantae's Got a Man by Shantae Moore. Hey Leonardo, She Likes Me for Me by Blessed Union of Souls. That's
Oh.
fucking banger.
Yeah.
Why I'm Here by Oleander. Happily Ever by Case. The Hardest Thing by 98 Degrees. And Out of My Head by Fastball. Fastball, definitely one of the most underrated bands of all time.
So show of hands in the chat, who wants us to add a Patreon prize tier where we just once a month read the songs from all the Now albums?
Are you? Steve's like over it. Steve's like, wrap it up.
No, that'd be funny because they still make them. I think there's like
That's what
I've looked them up. There's like
46.
hundreds of them. So that would be content for days if we just start with Now 1 and then just once a month that's what we're gonna do. We'll just read the track listing of like 4 or 5 Now albums.
Really good for at least 100 months.
Yeah.
Shoot. I was going to say, there was a song on here that made me think of something. Oh, yeah. Nookie by Limp Bizkit. So I will tell you guys, I do want to tell you guys one thing about my wedding is that we had a DJ and we had a must playlist, and Rollin' by Limp Bizkit was on the must playlist. And Steve and Josh, did you guys come out and dance to Rollin'? Because basically the whole wedding danced to Rollin'. Like,
We were out there for most.
Yeah, I would say we were out there pretty much the whole time, unless I was at the bar getting a refill. I was on the dance floor.
There were so many good songs. I'm sure that was definitely one that we were hyped on.
Here's the thing is, like, me and Jordan picked that song. We're like, dude, everyone's gonna get lit. This isn't even ironic. Like, this is just gonna be hilarious and great. And so at a certain point, the DJ turns it on, and like people are like, they're in the bathroom, they're at the bar, they're outside smoking. Everyone just starts to like cockroaches get on the dance floor. Like, we just see people like being like, yeah, like just coming in from all over the place. And that was like the song that like got everybody on the dance floor, and everyone's like singing and like doing the like rolling thing. That was like, I don't know, man. It was so funny. Everyone who wasn't dancing, you could just see people being like, is that rolling? I'm going to go.
I have to say, I did write.
I
did write the DJ a bad review because he wouldn't take my request.
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't.
He was a great DJ. Didn't you ask him?
I tried to give him, and he was like, well, the bride has a very strict, this is the do not play list and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
Vitus was not on the do not play list, but I bet you
trust me, Vitus, she wants Vitus. And I kept going up to him, and he's like, well, I got to do this thing. And he was like, not into it. He kept shutting me down. He's like, hey, drunk asshole, I'm not playing Vitus.
DJ.
I went up there like 3 or 4 times, and every time he like rolled his eyes, he's like, you go over there.
That's funny.
I didn't even notice that. I did not get off the dance floor the whole time. I was having the time of my life. I didn't even notice like if any of that was going down.
I mean nothing like went down. He just like, I would just go over there and try to suggest it, and he would just politely shut me down. Richard's all on board for our reading all the nows.
Yeah. Doolin says Green Day gets an honorable mention and no one has mentioned them, and Bush as well. I remember them playing in the rain. Nice. All right, guys. Well, I think that about wraps it up.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening to us and hanging out with us and listening to me read now. That's what I call music for track list. Really brings back some amazing memories of just like being a kid, basically. So that's fun. All right, guys. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. Appreciate you guys taking the time. We will see you next week. And everybody say bye.